because time is so limited. Last Sunday, we sat down in, when we have lunchtime, we talk a little bit. So I sense that there's some gap between the two words, laws and grace, faith and works. So I thought maybe this morning we're going to talk about the differences between law and grace. So the transition between Old Testament and New Testament, between Moses and Jesus Christ, I would say that there's a connection between these two, and also there's a gap. Depends on how you look at it. If you look at like Pharisees and the extreme people talking about just faith, then you have a gap. So that's why it creates a lot of confusion, create a lot of misinterpretation about the laws and grace in Old Testament and New Testament. Actually, Jesus Christ was the perfect one who came and connect with these two, or the transition between laws into grace with himself, because he bring. The Bible said that we're going to go to when John was talking that laws come from Moses and grace come from Jesus. So that is two, I would say, the covenants between laws and grace. So many people still hold on the legalistic view of the law in the Old Testament, which is conflicting the reality of grace in the Old Testament theology, or Jesus' teaching and attitude. So I think that's what we have to really pay attention. Sometimes we just want to take Jesus' teaching out of context, and then we do not examine what attitude that Jesus speaking about the subject or the topics. So that is what a lot of misinterpretation, even sometimes you interpret the law or the words of Jesus is correctly, but somehow the background or the attitude, the emotion of the one who spoke being misinterpreted. So that could create a lot of problems in our daily life. So today, a very short time, I have 35 minutes. I try my best to talk about these differences between laws and grace. Let us start this way. When the Bible started, they have a different, you call it period of time, or just call divisions. There are so many theologians divided the Bible in different divisions. But for myself, when I study all kind of, I just put it into only 5. Simplify for my thinking. Okay, if you disagree with me, it's okay. You go and study. There's so many period of the so-called the Bible to classify. Each period have a different characteristic, or the response that God had to deal with people. The first, I call it in the Garden of Eden. I call it innocence. So during that time, the life of people, Adam and Eve, they're innocent. They're naked, okay, but they don't feel ashamed each other, whatever it is, or they don't have the knowledge of right or wrong. When you say that the kid is innocent, that means they still don't know what's right, what's wrong, and because they're innocent. So that period of time when Adam and Eve was in the garden, you call it innocent period of time. Okay. Then after the fall of Adam and Eve, then they feel guilty. Then they went to hide themselves, among the bushes. So that you call guilt period. After that, people start to have that sense of guilt. Adam's son, Cain, killed brother, feel guilty, and God confronted him. He just have that guilty, and then his son, his grandchildren start killing. So then the period of guilt of human being come. And then the different period of time, Noah time, and then come to Abraham. I call it covenant time, the period. Actually, you can call it period of time. You said the promise. God promised Abraham. But at the same time, God have a covenant with Abraham. Said, if you do this, do this, I will bless you, I will do this or do that. So that's a covenant. What is different between contract and covenant? Can you explain what is a contract and what is covenant?
Contract's a legal thing, and a covenant is built on something else. It would be more of a or on faith.
Yeah. Contract and a covenant.
You can break the contract.
You cannot.
You can.
You can break the contract. Covenant you cannot. Can you explain a little bit more?
It's like, I don't know, it's in terms of like God and people covenant. There will be no breaking the covenant. But if like the contract between people, we can break it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I know what you're thinking. So let me very simply just explain this. Contract between two parts. I do this for you, you do this for me. Okay? I give this, you give me that, so that's kind of give and take, that's contract between two parties. But covenant, especially the covenant that God given to Abraham, Abraham didn't come to deal with God. Abraham didn't say that God do this for me, then I will do this for you. But God himself, he just initiated by himself, said that, okay, I'm going to bless Abraham. Okay, so I will do this, I will do that. Okay, so this is, you're right in one sense, God cannot break his covenant. He himself gave that covenant, his promise to Abraham, said that I will bless you. I will bless your children. I will bless many nations from you, and you have many children. And your children will be a blessing to many, many nations in the future. Okay, that's one period of time or division of the Bible. Then come to Moses. See, then come to Moses, that we call it the commandments or the laws, period. Because on Mount Sinai, God gave Moses the laws, and so that you call period of laws. And then come to the period of Jesus Christ, that's you call grace, the period of grace. So different period of time of the Bible is different characteristic and different interaction between God and his people. Okay, so that is 5 division I give you. That's my own, classify how many period. But actually, when I study there's so many division. So if you really want to go and study different classification of the different period, it's interesting, but sometimes you get a lot of headache out of that too, because of very complicated definition. ที teeny. So now the purpose of the law. So because our time so limited, let me go into the point. The purpose of the law. You know, so let me see. In the very beginning of driving or the traffic in New York, there's no traffic lights. Okay, everyone could come and go, you know, when you're going to go, no. In other words, no problem. When there is no law, there's no, violation of the law, right?
No speeding ticket.
Right? Yeah. But as soon as there's law, there's a system, then you face the chances that you break the laws. That's why when I work in a Jewish hospital, Jewish home, they always laugh. He said, "Which hand you know what the law's for?" I said, "What?" He said, "For breaking." If there's no law, no one break it. But if there's law, everyone gonna break it. So that's a funny joke for the Jewish. But they always kind of laugh about it, you know. And so the first purpose is to revealing sin. If no law, no revelation of sin. But when that law put in there, we realize that sin, right? So sometimes I think when in the Garden of Eden, why God to said, don't eat that? So that means God put something there. Is that a law? You know?
He breaks it.
Yeah, he breaks it. So sometimes, you know, I wonder, in that garden, God has already revealed something that's going to come. Okay? So I don't want to go into that because there are a lot of argumentation and a lot of thoughts. So when you present the law, there's a chance that you reveal your wrongdoing, or our Christian term is sin. There's law, reveal sin right away. Okay? And then the second purpose of law is guidance. You know, the guardians or guidance to how we're going to live. You know, how we're going to live. You know, sometimes people, especially the Buddhist people, say that, oh, every religion is good. We have religion, we don't need Christ. We don't need, you know, Christianity. I said, yeah, if you don't have Christ, you rather have religion. Because at least religion guides you how to live systematically, peacefully among the people in the same society, the same community. Whatever. You better have some guidance how to live. That every religion teach you how to be good people, yes. Good deeds, yes. So in other words, religion has some good things, but it's not the final answer for human eternity. So that's why I usually don't argue with people that say that religion is good enough. No, it's not good enough. But religion has some good in itself. It's good for guidance. So the law is good to guide us. Don't do this, do that. If you do this, you get this, you know. So in the past with the Moses law, you didn't say eye for eye, you know, life for life, everything. So that is, when there's law, there is the, what do you call it, the response to the law, and the punishment, the reward, and so it's a guidance for living. Okay, the third purpose of the law, I would say monitoring the wrongdoing sin. You know, when you have law, you need a what? Policeman, right? If you have law, you don't have law enforcement, no good. Law doesn't have teeth. So if you want the law have teeth, you got to have policeman, law enforcement with it. So that's why, you know, sometimes I all look at the Pharisees as a policeman of the law. So, Pharisees always looking people, pointing to people, what they're doing wrong, what they,
Almost judge.
yeah, the judge, whatever it is. So, but actually the law is monitoring for our behavior. See, that's why when we, even we as a Christian now, so the law gives us the idea. When I say like this, it's wrong. When I say this, it's right. Then let me use my personal experience. My father wasn't a religious person. So when I became a Christian, I told him, Dad, I become a Christian. He was pretty upset for a few years, and after that, then we talked. Then I asked him, I said, Dad, what is your quote-unquote religion? What you really trust, what religion will be your principle for, or guidance for living? He said, no, I don't have any particular religion or faith, but it depends on my conscience, or my, what do you call it? Yeah. ภาษาไทยมโนธรรม okay? Your ethical and your what? Yeah, conscience, your conscience, okay? Then I asked him, I said, Dad, could you honestly tell me, throughout your life, your everyday life, you do everything according to your heart or your conscience tell you? He said, no, not every time. I said, in that case, you still cannot depend on your conscience to guide you, right? You still can overturn. Then I thought about it. I said, Dad, look at that thermometer to measure the weather, the heat and cool. He said, can that be dependable? He said, yeah. I said, no. What happens if I use a piece of ice and put next to it? The thermometer will go down, right? Cool. But if I put some heat nearby it, it's going to go up. It's not according to the environment, but it depends on some outer factor to influence. I said the same thing. I said, Dad, your conscience tell you this is no good, but you overrule it. You say, oh, I like it. So you ignore it, and then you do it. That's why you do something against your own conscience, right? You say, yes. So that means our conscience is not consistent and could be influenced, could be affected by many outer factors. So he said, yes. So at least he agreed with me, and I use different kind of illustration and to lead him to understand that, yeah, you cannot depend on yourself, your conscience, whatever it is. And the fourth purpose of the law is to punish the wrongdoer or the sinner. The law is the judge to punish you, because the law tried to prove that it is just, as Moses said, eye for eye, a tooth for tooth. It's the what do you call it? It's a justifying to do that. Okay, if you hit someone have the right to hit you back. If you do something wrong, you cheat someone could cheat you back. So that is, so that's why I keep telling a lot of my members or my students say that when you come before God, don't ask for justice. They ask for mercy. Because if we're talking about justice, where will we be? Huh? Hell, right? That's it. Because we cannot come before God and demand justice. We cannot. But we can ask God's mercy, God's love, God's mercy. So the purpose of law, to punish the wrongdoer sinner. And the last one, that the purpose of the law, I put it, said that the guardians for the coming of the Son. That's the Bible. Bible said that is the guardians. They said when the promise is not coming yet, and then the grace period is not come yet, so that law working as the guardians. So afterward, I will show you the Bible verses, then you can see that what I'm talking about. The guardians for the coming of the Son. Okay, the application, the last part that we're going to spend some time. Galatians chapter 3, 10 to 11. It's so clear that the law is a curse. Very strong. The law is a curse. Let's look at it, okay? So that we can get some understanding out of it. (3:10). Okay, it said that all who rely on observing the law are under a curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone who does not continue to do everything written in the book of law. Okay? And clearly, no one is justified before God by the law, because the righteous will live by faith. This is the very clear that the law has a curse, because I didn't look at the verse that law kill, grace give life. So